Hi, everybody. My name is Casi Gamel, and I work at BrainPOP. And if you don't know BrainPOP, what we do is we're an educational technology company that produces animated movies and creativity tools for students and for teachers. And today, what I'd like to talk to you about is how we gather customer feedback and then in turn give feedback back to customers in the form of onboarding. So let's start with a simple question. Why do we want customer feedback? Well, we want customer feedback because without it, our products aren't going to get any better. We need to know from customers what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, and if we don't collect customer feedback on a regular basis, we're not going to have any customers. Now with BrainPOP, we have two groups of users really. We have kids and we have adults. And there's a lot of great data privacy laws in the world that mean that we can't be collecting information and marketing to kids, which is awesome. You don't want to do that. So it begs the question, how are we going to make sure that we're collecting feedback only from adults and that we're making sure that we're protecting kids' privacy at all costs? Well, we've solved that problem by putting all of our feedback collection mechanisms only on pages that we know adults are going to. So in our case, it's going to be pages like our administrative dashboards or our online store, things that kids don't have access to because they're not logged in as teachers, and also that they would find super boring. The added benefit of putting these feedback collection mechanisms only on these pages are that we're actually talking to the people who are the key decision makers and buyers in our districts and our schools, and that's teachers and administrators. And that's the feedback that we most want to get as quickly as possible and respond to, because these are the users we need to know that we're meeting their needs, that we're filling the needs of what they have in the schools, and that they're going to turn around, buy our product, and then stay with us. So some of the tools we use to gather feedback, we get NPS scores, we run customer surveys on our site often, we look at our customer success calls and we analyze our social media, and we gather all of this information and synthesize it with our amazing on-site user research team, and they help us follow up with customers who are interested in participating in more advanced in-depth user interviews. And all of that keeps helping us get better. Customer feedback is great. We found that customer feedback helps us know when launches have gone really well, when launches could have gone better. And it helps us understand, by not just relying on customer success calls, we get a wide sampling of positive and neutral feedback, which is super motivating for the product team. Helps us know when we're on the right track and when we can always improve. When we launched our administrative dashboards, we immediately started doing a post-launch survey with a lot of our different customers. And what we learned from that was a really detailed list of features that they requested, and they were really eager to help us and help us improve the product. But by talking to all of them at once, we were able to start seeing really clearly what were large districts looking for, what were small districts looking for, what were individual schools looking for, and really be able to help to prioritize our roadmap and be able to share that feedback out with the rest of the company. It was great. So we've talked a little bit about how we collect feedback from customers, but let's talk about how we get customers onboarded. Now, BrainPOP, a lot of folks know it for animated movies and quizzes, and it's really great, and it's got this cute robot that you keep seeing up in these slides. But we keep on getting feedback from teachers that they don't know about all of the other amazing features BrainPOP has to offer. You can do assessments, you can create your own movies with our characters, you can build concept maps. This is great. So we're like, how do we help teachers find all these features? Our solution was BrainPOP 101. It's a built-in self-directed course in our site that teachers can get into the moment that they log in. And what it does is it lets them actually learn by doing. They get to try out all of the features BrainPOP has to offer. They get to see how they'd use it in their own classroom, and they really get to experience it from both the teacher side and how the kids are going to be using it in class, which is pretty great. BrainPOP 101, though, is the first step in a user funnel. You can become a certified BrainPOP educator after you complete this course, or you can have us come in and do in-person professional development in your schools. It's really great. But it isn't just wonderful for teachers. BrainPOP 101 has actually been great for us. We started to see as soon as we launched it that teachers who used BrainPOP 101 were more likely to use a wider array of features, log in more often, and then at the end of the day, come back and be customers who stayed for years and years. So it's been a benefit for us because it creates our ideal user. But BrainPOP 101 isn't the only thing we did. We started realizing that we wanted to message customers in all kinds of ways. We wanted to be able to get analytics on that messaging without relying on our data team. We wanted to be able to get the marketing team to send messages out that weren't beholden to our product delivery cycle. And we wanted to build these messages without relying on our dev team, who had a lot of other things to do. We decided to use Pendo to solve this. Now, Pendo is a segmented messaging tool. It's one of many in the market. It's just the one that we decided to go with. And we started experimenting and sending more messages to customers. We were alerting them to new movies. We were telling them about our new features around creative coding. And again, we started to see that usage of those features went up right away after we started messaging customers. We were really excited. It hasn't all been easy, though. It turns out that we're not nearly as autonomous as we thought we were. These tools involve a lot of communication. We still needed our analytics team. We still definitely needed dev time to hard code messages on other parts of our site. And we knew that we could do better. We wanted to keep iterating on this process and improving our onboarding. So we realized that part of the problem is that now you've got all these product teams, a marketing team, educators team, everyone is super excited to send messages to customers, but if we're all sending messages to the same customers at the same time, you're gonna overload them with messages and then they're just gonna ignore you. So what do you do to solve that? Well, we created a product engagement guild. It's a bi-weekly meeting in our office that involves the product team, educators, design team, marketing. Everyone sits down, looks at the messaging they're sending, makes sure that we're not overwhelming any one user segment, sharing out what's worked about our messaging, testing out new approaches, and then sharing all that learning out with the rest of the company. Plus, we get an awesome name. Who doesn't want to be a guild, right? So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be continuing to expand our use of segmented messaging. We're going to continue learning from each other, sharing our learning, making mistakes, but then continuing to improve on our work. If I want you to take anything away from this talk, it's these three things. Thoughtful onboarding pays off in spades, and you can get data on that. Always be talking to your customers, but make sure you're talking to each other too. You all have the customer in mind at the end of the day, and you can only help to improve each other. Thank you so much.